Harold Szymanski here with 360Chestnut Whiteboard. Today's lesson is going to be about insulation again, this time talking about the two things that insulation can do for you. And this is where it gets a little confusing. Insulation can be both for air sealing, that means keeping out drafts, as well as being a thermal barrier. The analogy that I like to use is you're sleeping in a cold room and the window is open. So there's two things to do. The first thing to do is close the window, and that's what air sealing is all about, keeping out the cold air. And the next thing to do is put a blanket on your bed. And that's what creating a thermal barrier is all about. So there's some insulation that does both, and some insulation that only does one of those things. Generally speaking, foam types of insulation, like isonine biofoam, they actually air seal, and they also act as a thermal barrier. So it's one application, does both things. Other types of insulation, for example fiberglass, and to a lesser degree cellulose, only does one thing. It only acts as a thermal barrier. So that means in the case of fiberglass, if you have a lot of air leakage in your house, a lot of holes, a lot of maybe holes from nails or from other protrusions like vents or something, then the reality is you need to air seal before you put in any sort of insulation, particularly fiberglass. So between the two, it is air sealing that is far more important than insulation. So you can air seal in a couple of different ways. The first thing you can do is obviously use a foam insulation, and you do both. Or what's generally more cost effective is to use things like caulking and other types of products, other types of foam products, in order to stop up all the holes. First air seal, and only then look to insulate.